The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate Pack Show, windows, doors, IRS problems. We tour commercial real estate. We tour residential real estate in Central Florida. It's going to be a fantastic show. Don't miss a minute. Just ahead, it's You Have Real Estate.
Managing your investment property is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Sign up at GoRent123.com. 2. Let Greater Orlando Realty handle all of the management of your property. 3. Sit back and count your money. Visit GoRent123.com today.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions whatsoever during the show, the phone number will be right here on the screen. Here is the number, 407-205-0400. If you want to start that house hunt this weekend for your dream home, Dallas Lehman is standing by to get you pre-approved. Same phone number. I'm so excited about today's show, by the way. It's going to be awesome. Great people here. It's going to be, honestly, one of my favorite shows ever. I can already tell. But first, the opening statement. So you own a house and it needs a little bit of work. Where do you start? You want to increase the value of your home. You don't want to spend $80,000 on a full kitchen. You can't sell your house if your roof has issues. You can't, because the person buying it, generally speaking, will try to get a mortgage, and the mortgage company will not lend to them if the roof is a mess. Also, windows and doors. How important are those? Visually, aesthetically, yes, but also think about energy efficiency. What we're dealing with right now is these energy bills. The electricity bills are skyrocketing, and you don't know why. Believe it or not, you replace those windows, replace those doors, your electricity bill is going to go down super, super fast. Also, some great houses to show you what is on the market right now and how is this real estate market handling sort of a weird time that we're living in. We're going to answer those questions, and we're going to do so by answering and asking real questions. Every Saturday here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. And so many questions to ask today, but let's start with our great friends over at Universal Roof and Contracting. How are you guys? Good to see you.
Doing great. How you doing? Thanks for having us.
Corey, we have a long story about your name with me and you. We did another show the other day, and I called you. What did I call you?
Nick.
Yeah, because I guess you look like a Nick. Corey Callahan is here, and obviously great name, Justin is here. Hey,
Perfect.
Justin, how are you, buddy?
Great, man. Thanks.
Great to have you guys again. And let's get right to it about roofing. Roofs are one of the most expensive things that can happen in someone's household. And when you talk about your home, that's your biggest investment ever. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the big question is always, is my insurance going to cover it? Or am I going to have to stroke a check for 25 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand? Right. And that is a very important question for families. A lot of families don't have 20 grand, 30 grand sitting around to just stroke that check. And I really think that question oftentimes is answered with that inspection at the beginning. There are a lot of roofing companies out there, a lot of storm chasers out there who will just like take a Google image and say, oh yes, you need a new roof. That's not an inspection.
It's not.
How important is that initial inspection?
It's everything. It's everything. That's going to determine which way that roofing project is going to lean. If it's going to be that stroking a check or financing options, or if it's going to be navigated through your insurance. So the best thing to do is to have trained and certified eyes on that to actually see that damage, uncover it, and then take photos of it, document it, write up reports about it, tie it to specific storm dates if necessary, and just really provide everything needed to the homeowner so that they can make an informed decision on how they want to proceed. And that all starts with a free evaluation, and then we're going to show you the damage. It's not an opinion. It's going to be backed up with photos with us, and we're going to show you everything that we see. Right.
And Corey, it seems like an easy question, but maybe it's not. When do I call? How do I know it's time to call you?
Sure. Yeah. We run into all sorts of, obviously, leaks. If you're seeing brown spots on your ceiling, if you're seeing granules gather in your driveway or in your gutters. One of the super obvious things is if there's a shingle laying in the yard after a storm, those kind of things. That's all reasons. The other is it's really good to get your roof inspected more often than people actually do. A roof has a pretty long lifespan to it, but because of what it endures in the state of Florida particularly, it's a good idea just to lay eyes on it, and it's not necessarily safe to always get up on your roof, so get the trained professionals to come out and take a look at it.
And so I call you, how does that process work, and do I have to stroke you a check for $500, $1,000 to come out and do the inspection?
No, not at all. Yeah, you just call the office. You can go to universalroof.com. Connect with the office. The call center there was going to ask you a series of questions. They'll book a scheduled appointment for you that works with your time frame. And then one of our estimators, it could be Justin or I or one of the other estimators, come out and we do the free inspection. So everything is absolutely complimentary. There's no cost for it. There's plenty of times that we go out and the homeowner doesn't really need a new roof yet, but they can at least sleep at night knowing that the roof is in good shape.
And it's weird too, because we did the Best of Central Florida show together last week, and we were like, oh, there's been no hurricanes at all. This has been a crazy year. And now, of course, you look at your local meteorologist and they're like, oh, we have this hurricane, this hurricane. So I still think there's time for hurricane season to roll through here. And I imagine there are things that I can do to get prepped for that.
Yeah, I mean, your standard hurricane preparedness, getting water, getting supplies, having cans of gas, make sure your generator is in working condition since you haven't ran it in probably a couple years. Those are all just your standard family practices. You want to make sure those things are buttoned up so that you can withstand the hurricane, even if your roof is installed brand new.
Yeah.
But as far as the roof goes, I mean, definitely being proactive is 100% the key word here. That's the practice you want to use. That'll get you ahead of any potential problems. And we have the capabilities at Universal Roof and Contracting to address those in pretty quick response time. So we can get you buttoned up before that storm comes.
Yeah, some of the things that scare people when it comes to getting a roof done is that they don't necessarily trust the people that are going to be around their house for 2 or 3 days. And you guys are different. You've been around for a long time. If Universal is there, you're going to have a truck with a name on it. But we have these storm chasers that have really given roofing a bad name.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really have, especially in this state, because you have a hurricane roll through. We got dudes from Alaska rolling down here, knocking on your door, saying, hey, we're going to do your roof, and then you give them 10 grand, 20 grand. They don't show up again. Universal is a name that can be trusted. What is that experience like when you actually get out there to my house? How does that work?
It's really all about trust. It's about us being trained properly and what we do. I said this on the Best of last week. You want to protect your home. You want to make sure the people that are working on it have been in business, that they can be accountable to the work that they're doing. The one thing that we take a ton of pride in is we spend time together each week as a team, and we train and we go through what's happening out there. So when we get on a roof, when we come on your property, we know how to develop a scope of work that's going to work for you. We're not going to put any fluff into it. A lot of times people tell you there's damage when there's actually not damage. Like Justin said earlier, we're going to back that up with photos. And like I said, a lot of times, people's roofs just need a little bit of attention and they've got more life left in it. Other times they're in dire straits and they better get something done right away.
And I've been doing this show for a long time and around the real estate world for a while, so I've been around a lot of roofing companies. And to be honest with you, here's how it normally goes. You call the roofing company, they take an aerial photo of your roof, they send you a quote, and you sign it, DocuSign, and that's it. Universal has a completely different strategy. You're coming to my dinner table.
Yes. Yeah. Dinner table, kitchen table, back patio, wherever you're comfortable sitting these days is where we're happy to meet you and just go over everything. A lot of times we spend half an hour to an hour with homeowners before we even put feet on the roof. And in that time, we're just gathering the information that you want to tell us. We need to know what your needs are, what your wants are, what you want to see on the roof ultimately. You talked about energy efficiency. There's different values for different homeowners, and we want to make sure we pinpoint what those are so like Corey said, we can build your scope and your customized roof system to those needs and those wants. Right. We're not a cookie cutter roofing company. Here's the roof we got. That's the one you're going to get. We're going to build that roof to your specs, your needs, so that your family and their home and everything's well protected.
Talk to me about repair versus replace, because I know that you will repair if that's the way to go. What are the differences in the two? How do I know repair versus replace?
Yeah, great question. We run into this every day. Sure. A lot of it has to do with the actual repairability of the roof. If you've got a roof that's been on for 17, 18, 20 years, and you're starting to develop a leak, or there's some shingles that have been damaged, a lot of times we can't. The wrong move would be to repair it, because you're spending money twice.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we go in and we kind of paint the picture of, hey, the wrong move is to repair this. We need to put a new roof on this. Obviously, we come into contact with workmanship from other contractors that maybe need some attention, those kind of things on a newer roof, and absolutely we can put together a scope of work for a good solid repair to make sure it's done right. Yeah. So it really just depends on the age of your roof and the design of your roof and what kind of shingles you have on there, sometimes tile, sometimes metal. But the biggest thing is affordability. We don't want you to see you spend money twice, on the roof.
It only makes sense. I think the analogy is I had a washing machine at my house. It wasn't working, and the guy came out. He's like, it's only 2 years old, but the whole thing is basically broken. I'll charge you $500 to fix it, or you get a new one for $600.
Pretty much.
I think that's kind of the debate is why spend several thousand to repair it when you're just going to have to replace it soon. But that's what makes you guys different. And I know it, I can feel it, it makes you different because you're going to be honest about that decision, and you're also not going to overpromise. When you're at my dinner table, you're gonna tell me, this is how long it's going to take. Sure. We're probably not gonna be here tomorrow. It might be a couple weeks before we can come out. This is what it's gonna cost, and we're not gonna then jack up the price. I see it every day. These roofing companies will come out and say it's going to be $12,000. By the time they're done, they're going to say it's $28,000 and put a lien on your house. Yeah. Overpromising is a problem, not with you.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've been taught. I mean, our founder 30 years ago, Ken Mellick, he built this business with family values, and that's how we approach every homeowner and every customer, with those family values. And we're there to do the right thing. So we set those expectations very clearly. We are going to be tearing off your roof and putting a new one on. It's going to be an interruption of life. But we're going to make sure you know exactly what the layout of that is and how that's going to affect you, and we're going to deliver on all of that.
Yes. Justin, great to see you again, buddy.
Absolutely, you too.
Corey, again, I apologize about last week, but I promised you last week I would provide brunch for you as well, and I've done so, have I not?
You
the
have.
show before this. Universal Roofing Contracting. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot.
I feel so comfortable telling the people of Central Florida that I trust you, and there's really nowhere else I would go when it comes to the roofing industry. Here's what we'll do. Quick break. When we return, a couple of houses to show you that are going to blow you away, but also windows and doors. Also super important when it comes to the value of your home, the energy efficiency of your home. It's all just ahead. You Have Real Estate continues.
You can be an agent that struggles to get ahead in the competitive real estate world, or you can learn from the best and achieve success. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com and sign up for the Jumpstart program. Get coaching tips and important tools that will help you jumpstart your real estate career. Sign up today and get 10% off your Jumpstart program when you use code word LEARN. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com today and gain the real estate knowledge you need to succeed.
Welcome back. Happy to be joined by Vivian Lehman, Vik Mahadeo. Guys, how are you?
Good.
How are you? I'm a little angry with both of you, to be honest. You have been scuba diving. You have been snorkeling while I've been here working myself
so
dizzy.
you're a little paler.
I am paler, for sure. You got it. I love sitting at this table and having a combination of residential agent and commercial agent, because they are two truly different lines of work, aren't they, Vik? Let's start with you on the commercial side.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Commercial is more of a numbers-based approach to the business, whereas residential, and Vivian, you can speak to this, you're selling a home, you're selling an experience. With our job, it's a lot more, do the numbers make sense? Right. So it's pretty straightforward, but each comes with its own, positives and benefits and negatives.
And we like to talk commercial here, but obviously residential comes up more, so we're sort of tracking what's going on in the real estate market here locally every single week. We don't check in as much on the commercial market. How would you describe the commercial market right now?
So sales volume has been dropping as in the residential world, but it's still strong. We're at pandemic era highs in the office sector, and while we do see some drop off in volume, as you would expect when interest rates get raised, things are still strong. Orlando's a really good market, and we're outperforming the national averages almost across the board.
Yeah, we see news items all the time about the residential mortgage rates and how they have gone up. Do the commercial interest rates track that, or are they different?
Yes, but not at the same level.
Okay.
We do see we we haven't seen, whereas in the pandemic at the start of 2020, we saw people pulling out, mortgage lenders just canceling all across the board. We have seen increases in the interest rates, but it hasn't been as sharp of a turn, I would say.
And you have a very cool property we're going to look at here in just a minute for investors out there. But Vivian, let's go to you. And it's the residential market, obviously the last 2 years has been stupid, crazy, dumb.
Yes.
You live down in the trenches. What are you seeing right now?
So basically we are seeing a little bit more inventory on the market and longer days on market. And the stuff that's selling is something that's fixed up. That still will get multiple offers.
Yeah, and I like that you have 3 properties here with us today, because it gives everyone an idea at home of what they could buy right now.
Yes.
What is on the market right now. And let's go through these here quickly.
Okay.
And let's start with the bigger one here. This is Horseshoe Bend. Where is this property?
So this is in Aliqua Lakes. And
Okay.
Aliqua Lakes is northern Orlando, gated community, has a golf course. You also have a clubhouse with a pool and tennis courts too,
Yeah.
which is really nice. But this house specifically, it's 3310 Horseshoe Bend. It's $1,375,000. It's 4,362 square feet on over 3/4 of an acre. And it has a brand new roof in the amount of $150,000.
Wow.
Yeah. That's big today because
Yeah.
of the insurance.
Right.
But this one's a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath. It backs up to conservation. And it's available now.
I like it. If you want to go maybe a little bit smaller than that, and the Markham Woods corridor is awesome up there,
Yes.
where Aliqua Lakes is, an area that we know well. A great property, and 1.3 for that area is not too bad, honestly.
It's a great location.
Yeah. Now let's take me down to Bayberry. Now this looks kind of like the area you used to live in. Is that true or no?
It is.
Oh yeah.
It's off of Douglas Avenue
Yeah.
in Altamont Springs, really close to Crane's Roost. And this one is 110 Bayberry. It's $420,000. It's a 3-2 with a pool on over 1/3 of an acre. What I love about this house, no HOA.
No, nothing.
That's always a plus. Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to get out of HOA communities. It seems like now more than ever. I don't know what's going on out there, but a lot of people hate HOAs.
Well, they don't like being told what to do
Yeah.
with your property. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I know, it's crazy. If you'd like to see this property or any property right now, Vivian will be happy to show it to you. 407-205-0400. And finally today, Briarcliff Drive. Is this downtownish?
This is in Delaney Park.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
right there.
I used to
close
ride my bike down there when I was cool.
It's close to Dr. Phillips. It's beautiful. The center there. And this home is a restored 1925 home. They're asking $450,000. It's 1,515 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all original floors, and it's a short sale.
Oh, short sale. What did you say? Are we seeing those again a little bit?
We're seeing them again. So short sales basically is an avenue a homeowner can take if they want to sell their home without being responsible for the mortgage.
Wow.
So basically you're selling it at below what you owe. You negotiate it with the seller because they still own the property,
Yeah.
but then you present it to the bank for their approval.
We haven't seen a lot of short sales over the last couple of years, and we're going to see some, I believe. Now, it's not going to be 2008, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but I think we'll see some. And what's gone on over the last couple of years is many people have gone into a forbearance on their mortgage or a deferment on the mortgage, and now they're trying to get it caught up, and they're struggling to. So inevitably, we're going to see some foreclosures pop up, not as many as 2008, and then at that point, you have a decision to make. Do I sell my house? Am I going to make a profit? Am I not? And a lot of times, making that decision, people are relying on Zillow to do so. I don't recommend doing that at all. If you are struggling with your mortgage payments, and you want to figure out what your house is worth, which is really the key in the decision-making process on how to deal with it, have Vivian give you a market analysis, a CMA on your house, and then we can make a great decision together. Do I sell it and make a profit? Do I sell it and it's got to be a short sale? Or is it better to try to figure out how to keep the house, which there's a lot of retention options as well. She'll do it for you right now for free at 407-205 0400. Now, I love talking commercial as well, and this building is pretty cool because I know I've seen it from the interstate, I feel like, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's visible from Washington Street and John Young is, I guess, the nearest intersection.
I gotcha.
This is definitely an investment sale, definitely not for a user or an occupying party, but this is the Department of Corrections building, currently listed at $3.95 million. Building is about 16,000 to 17,000 square feet. Tenant's been there for long term, and we actually just executed a long-term lease renewal.
Oh, really?
So they're on the hook for another 9 years.
9 years, and that's the government. That's the state of Florida.
State of Florida government-backed tenant, 100% occupied. So it's a very stable asset. We have seen in the recent years with the craziness in the market, a lot of people buying high cap rate retail properties, and this is definitely something more stable. An investor who's looking for something a little more. How do I put this, where you don't have to worry about if your tenant is going to go under if there's another pandemic.
Right, of course.
They go out of business. This is backed by the state of Florida. Again, government sector job growth has been outperforming the national average in Orlando. So we see a lot of stability in this asset, and that's what we're marketing.
Who buys this? Is this some big real estate investment trust? Is this just like a regular investor dude? Who buys this property?
So the nice thing with a single tenant occupant that's backed by the state is this is actually flexible in terms of who can come in and take over as the owner. A REIT would be great, but also someone looking to dabble into the commercial sector. Maybe you have a few houses and you've sold those off at the top of the market. 1031 money, that's a great user for this investment.
Right. And if you'd like to see it, if you're interested in commercial real estate, Vic would be happy to talk to you. You can look at this property or just talk about investing in commercial real estate in general. 407-205-0400. A lot of business owners, Vic, have to make an important decision with their business. They have to decide, do I want to buy my office space, or do I want to buy my warehouse, or do I keep renting it? What goes into that decision for a business owner?
So when you buy a property, you have to put a down payment. And so if you don't have a whole lot of capital, then you do want to go into leasing. Office space, the rents have been escalating. So, and as we've seen in the market, prices are dropping. So there's going to be a middle point where it is almost a coin flip. But as of right now, if you have a lot of capital where you can afford to, number one, find a property that suits your needs, and number two, invest into actually acquiring that asset, then an owner-occupant would be great. But leasing is still a great option, especially in the office.
If I'm buying my commercial real estate, how much do I normally have to put down minimum?
It varies. I think average, if I remember from CoStar, as of yesterday, the average is about 51% LTV.
51%,
Yes.
Really?
So,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, did you?
No, I was going to say 25, 30.
Yeah.
now, granted, we have Viv in Dallas, and
Right.
we might be able to get a better deal, but
Vik Mahadeo, is always great to see you,
Great to
buddy.
see you.
Easy for me to say hold, and I always screw it up. Hold Tyson.
Hold Tisson.
Tisson. I heard it pronounced Tyson and Tisson both. So
like
I
the
didn't
elevator
know.
company.
Okay, got it very much. Great job as always.
Thank
Vivian
you.
Lehman, always a pleasure to see you. Beautiful
you.
properties,
Thank
beautiful
you.
commercial real estate. But here is what is up next. Let's say you have just sold your commercial property. You sold your primary home. You just made a lot of money because the market has gone crazy. How much money do you have to pay in taxes on those profits? Brian Fay, tax accountant, will join us next to tell you how to deal with your profits in real estate as You Have Real Estate continues. Does credit card debt have you spinning out of control? Call me today or visit youhavepower.com. All right, you just sold your house. It's your primary home, or maybe you have a rental home that you just sold. You made a lot of cash because this market is crazy. What do you do with the cash? Do you have to pay taxes? Do you have to file it with your tax returns? These are all great questions that a lot of you are not going to know the answer to until now, as we welcome in our good friend, tax accountant, enrolled agent, Brian Fay. Brian, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello. Good, thank you.
Let's say it's a primary home. I sell it. I just made $400,000. What do I do in that situation? Do I have to pay taxes on that? Do I not?
Typically not. It depends on a couple different variables. You know, are you married? Are you not married? Was it inherited to you? Was it not? When did you purchase it? But typically not. We can usually avoid any type of tax implications on that.
That being said, let's say I'm the type of person that has always gone to or filed taxes myself online or something like that. If I'm selling real estate, don't you think that would be at least one good year to hire someone like you, an accountant, to actually prepare the returns?
Absolutely. That particular year for certain. You're at risk whenever you're filing taxes to be audited potentially, and certainly when a year when the IRS is going to be sending a document saying you get paid $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 or more, whatever it is for the sale of the property. They don't know anything about what you paid for it, so if you don't do anything on it, they're gonna assume that's all profit.
And not only that, I think we've all seen the headlines of the IRS is increasing in size exponentially. There's talk about hiring some 80,000 new agents, which is weird because right now I think they have like 30 or 40,000 employees. This would more than double the size of the IRS. So I think that everyone should be more careful now when it comes to preparing their taxes. What do you think this increase in agents really means for the regular small business owner or the regular taxpayer?
Well, it certainly is going to increase the likelihood of an audit. Yeah. If you're a small business owner or you're working with commercial real estate, personal real estate, residential, you're dealing with any type of properties, anything that raises some type of red flag that is not something that's reported to the IRS. That's probably the reason why all of the increase of employees for the IRS is being generated.
And but Brian and I both know that if you have not filed taxes in a while, or if you have filed and you owe money to the IRS, you're scared. Do you think maybe this could be a criminal issue? They're going to come take your money? And I mean, generally it's not criminal, but let's make no mistake. If you owe money to the IRS, they don't have to sue you like Bank of America does. They literally send you a letter and start taking money out of your bank account. They can take money out of your checking account. You need to always get ahead of your IRS debt. You have to. And Brian, I know two of the options you normally talk to me about are installment agreements and offer and compromise. Tell me about those two ways to solve my IRS problems.
Well, yeah, those are some of the collection alternatives, basically, other than obviously just paying full pay. You can certainly, based on your certain financial situation, obviously an installment agreement, even with an installment agreement, you're still paying penalties and interest along the way. People might have heard of other things, Fresh Start Initiative, offer and compromise. That's certainly the best way to go if you qualify, and it's something that you need to speak to a professional about.
And the thing to do, though, is call this man right now. He'll have you in. It's totally free. Review what's going on and give you some options that don't involve you just rolling around in bed all night, unable to sleep because you're worried they're going to come into your house with apparently guns now. That's what I heard.
Apparently they're arming them.
That's what I heard, which I don't know about that. Call Brian, will you, right now, 407-205-0400. He will get you in this week and he'll get you in next week. Free consultation, totally. Let's figure out how to solve this stress that's probably creating drama in your household because you're so worried about what the IRS can do. And rightly so. Again, you should be worried, but not so worried that you just think that you're going to fall off a fiscal cliff, so to speak, because options are available. You just need to jump on them quite quickly. Brian, as always, keep up the good work. Keep saving financial lives out there for families. Your clients are stressed.
That's what we do.
Your clients are stressed, and it's always a pleasure seeing them leave and seeing that sense of relief they have. As always, good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who joined us today, but most importantly, thank you for joining me this weekend and every weekend for You Have Real Estate. You want to sell your home? I will show it off on the show for you for free. I'm happy to do it. If you want to get pre-approved, Dallas Lehman is still standing by at 407-205-0400. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you next week for more You Have Real Estate.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.